it's not about like one good day. Like no one gets strong from one day of lifting weights, and no one gets fast from one day of running. It is a concerted effort over a long period of time. Small victories over a long period of time is how you get better at something. And that requires motivation.
Welcome to the Gamify Education Podcast.
Clap. Do you know why you clap?
No.
Oh, so that I can sync up a separate audio file later so that I can see the visual place where I clap, and then there's a spike in the audio, and then you just go. That's why they do it. That's why they have the clappers.
Learn something new every day.
Look at me. I'm an educator. That's what I do. I educate. Welcome, Mr. Becker. How are you doing today?
Pretty great.
Excellent. We are now on our second episode, and this is the Gamify Education Podcast. I thought that this podcast, we would talk about the current troubles in education.
How much time we got?
As much time as you
All
want.
right.
So I don't have a lot of notes on this one. I don't have a lot prepared because I don't think we need it. I think that there are a lot of things that are obvious that are out there. But I did go and read an Ed Weekly article on like a teacher survey of what teachers perceive as like their biggest worry or their biggest problem in education. And can you guess what number one is?
Apathy.
No.
Darned. No. I was hoping.
No. Believe it or not.
Wait, hold on. Let me take another guess. Say the question again.
Okay, so this, I'm just paraphrasing here. I don't want to have a lot in front of me, but it's like the survey was like, what are the things that make you anxious, or what are the problems in education right now that bother you? Like what needs to be fixed in education, basically? Like that was the gist of the survey. Number one thing, what do you think it is?
Student behaviors.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Lack of learning?
Nope.
The impact of technology?
No.
Wow, I am 0 for 3.
Yeah, you are.
These are educators saying the biggest problem with education right now?
Yeah, correct.
I don't know. I don't know.
Pay.
Get out of here.
Well, you got to remember that not every state is as generous in their teacher pay as Washington State. And so there are states where teachers are still getting paid.
No, I get it.
Okay.
I get it. I thought that this was going to be a little different. Like not the career of teachers, the state of education.
Well, here's the thing. For the first time ever, there is one that's about to overtake pay. As far as, yeah.
So it's been pay for a long, long time.
It's been pay forever.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's famously pay. Like when we talk about teachers, it's at this point, it's stereotypical to say like, oh, teachers don't get paid. Again, I'm actually not complaining about the pay in Washington State. I think that we get compensated
very, very well.
Yeah, especially like compared to Wisconsin, where you're from. Like you get paid quite a bit more than you with a similar cost of living, and so that's not necessarily on our radar. And again, another reason, like we don't have to do this thing. We could be spending our spring break doing something else right now. We want to do this because we want to effectively help teachers be able to and manage your time isn't the right way to say it, but manage your effort maybe.
Yeah, maybe the morale.
Yeah.
Like manage your morale.
Well, so I used to have this belief, and actually, well, I still have this belief. It's logical that in a profession like teaching, where your pay isn't based off of your merit, it's not based off of your accomplishments. Your pay is set in stone, right? Mm-hmm. So the only way to effectively give yourself a raise would be to take a position that's easier than another. And so,
explain that. I don't think that they're going to get that.
Okay. I might ruffle some feathers here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. But I'm going to say that a PE teacher at an elementary school doesn't do as much work or as difficult of a job as a kindergarten teacher. In our district specifically, they have a lot more prep. They have a lot more planning. What they're teaching is not nearly as difficult to get the students engaged, and so just like the day-to-day, your job is just easier than a kindergarten teacher. I think that there is almost no more difficult job on the planet than teaching a kindergarten class, and I have the most respect for the individuals who decide to be kindergarten teachers. My wife was one for 8 years, and it takes a very special individual to go into a classroom and decide that they're going to spend their day with 35-year-olds who don't want to do what you want them to do, and then have them come out teaching, have them come out of that classroom learning how to read. So if you have a kindergarten teacher who makes, let's just call it $30 an hour, and a PE teacher who makes $30 an hour.
No, I get it.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I understand what you were saying, that if you wanted to effectively give yourself a raise, it would not be money, it would be less work.
Or more efficiently doing your work, so that it's not as cognitively, like it's not as difficult, or that it takes you less time. And I think that gamification allows you to work more efficiently. It allows you to get more out of your students in the same amount of time. It allows you to put in less, real mental effort. You put in. I consider it an investment. You put in a lot of upfront effort, and then the rest of the year is a lot easier after you've established those gamification systems. And so you're essentially, by making things more efficient, you're decreasing the amount of effort that you have to put in to get the same result, effectively giving yourself a mental raise.
And I think a lot of it is, like, if I'm thinking about, okay, if I'm at work, like typically, like you're not able to do the things that you necessarily want to do when you're at home, right? And the students are the same, right? I'm at school, which is not the same at home as home. At home, I'm just going to sit around, I'm play video games, maybe some of them go outside, whatever, right? And what is the difference? It's the fun. It really is.
Right.
It's I'm having a lot more fun at home. So I think that is the big thing of gamifying your classroom will bring fun, which in turn blurs the line then between work and not being at work.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just fun for the students. Like the fun of it is honestly getting to be a creative individual who even if you don't want to design your own game. We had a coworker who just used a pre-boxed game, Munchkin. And then he took that game and then applied the basic principles of Gamify Education to that game and then used it as a classroom game. But that was still fun because it was a fun game, and he had fun playing that game with his students and running it and doing that with his kids. But I'm a real passionate person when it comes to the idea that human beings are really happiest when we're creating. Like, I think that it's part of our design and how we're built is we just are tuned to create. And that goes for teachers and students and every individual. And so why wouldn't it stand to reason then that teachers are going to be happier if they are being creative, and then their students are going to be happier if they're getting to be creative? And this is an outlet, and this is a conduit for that creativity.
But as a teacher, then, like, you probably shouldn't be a teacher if you look at your students having fun and then you're not just like energized by that. Like, if you look at your kids having fun in the classroom and you're not enjoying yourself then, knowing that they're learning, knowing that they're supposed to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, why else are you a teacher then?
Right. I mean, my heart goes out to the individuals, though, who have been just ground down by the cogs of bureaucracy in the educational system. I get it. Like, I really do.
But they still, yes, I agree. But then do something fun, see if the kids are having fun. And if they are and they're learning, then that should be an enjoyable part of your profession. That's an enjoyable part of your day then.
Oh, for sure. And I think that there's this idea that, I mean, we as educators, we keep having these conversations about, like, no one cares about this. No one cares about this. Like, well, what if we took that idea and said, like, well, no one cares, so let's just have fun.
I mean, there's obviously that you can't just have fun all day because it is school.
Sure.
And you are here to learn. But what if we could meld the two together?
Right.
Let's make learning fun then.
Right.
If this is what the kids really want, then what's stopping us?
Yeah. I mean, what's more engaging? Like, what is so engaging about Minecraft or so engaging about Roblox? Like, why are kids there? Like, what's drawing them to those things?
I mean, I think a lot of it is escapism, honestly, in a sense of this is a new, maybe not escapism as much as like this is a fantasy world. Like, this is so different.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun because it's not anything that I see on a daily basis. I mean, some of it is just creativity. Like, you can do a lot in Minecraft and things like that. There's competition in it in a lot of this. So competition in a world that's not like your own. Yeah, that sounds pretty fun.
But I think there's something that adults don't understand about these games that's huge, which is the social aspect of them. Right now, this is where kids meet up. Mm-hmm. This is the sandlot of their generation. They are not going to parks to get a pickup game of basketball going. They're going to Roblox to meet up with the boys and then hang out. Or they're going into VR chat rooms to meet up and then watch a movie. And so we're not understanding the grammar of this generation. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to overlay our experience with their experience, and there's like this disconnect that's going on. And so really, I'm a personal believer that the real world's better than virtual world. Like, I don't want kids on VR. I don't want kids in Minecraft. I don't want kids on Roblox with like to an extent. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not a
their world cannot revolve around being on this.
I'm not a Luddite. Like, I'm not saying that we should get rid of all video games and all of that. And my kids will play Minecraft. That's fine. But it's like, if your life is waking up and going to school and vegging out so that you can go home and then spend 8 hours engaged in a video game,
sleeping in class so that you can stay up later playing video games.
Exactly. Then that's a real problem, because what we have failed to do as a society is to show these children the beauty and the wonder of the real world, because it really is like, there's a lot of fear right now about the world. There's a lot of fear about stepping outside your door. I survey students all the time. Part of my role is I have a room where students can come in when they're in crisis, and a lot of the crisis is they're just like the term today is crashed out. I just crashed out, Mr. Lamberson. I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Why? Well, I just want to go home to my iPad. And I'm like, whoa, like, okay, let's talk about that. Like, what do you do on your iPad? Oh, I play Roblox. Okay. Well, there's a lot of problems there. I'm not going to get into them, but anyways, okay. How long? Well, I usually until I fall asleep. Oh. Do you ever play outside? No, my parents say it's not safe. It's the safest it's ever been in history. Like in the United States right now, one of my administrators, he's basically like my coworker. He's just right over me. We work, a lot of our jobs overlap, and he said that like the United States is functionally Disneyland compared to the rest of the world. And so it's like so much of the dangers are perceived and just exacerbated by this constant feed of fear that we have on our phones, and this fear that we have coming from what media is feeding us, when in reality, like the truth is, right now, it is the safest it's ever been in the United States statistically.
So what's more dangerous then? Unsupervised play outside or unfettered access to the internet?
Oh, I feel like that's a dumb question, Mr. Beggar.
You say that, but what is society's answer to that?
Well, you have to look at a tree by its fruit, right? Mm-hmm. And so what people will say is what is different than what people actually do. So their actions are different than their words. I think most people would say that the unfettered access to the internet is more dangerous than the outside. I think most people believe that and would say that. That'd be my gut. But what are most people doing?
The opposite. Yes.
Right. And so I think that I think that most people are letting their fears overcome their logical part of their brain, which is to say, this is really bad for our kids. But there's that tiny fear of like, well, my kid could be the one in a million. And so,
I mean, I think that this is, and this is why I said at the beginning, like the biggest problem in trying to educate students right now is that idea. It's the unfettered access to the internet. It's the unfettered access to time on devices, the social aspect of it. And now all of a sudden, they're being forced to go into a school, a physical building, and try to learn something that they don't really want to learn.
Right. I've had this analogy for a while, but I've said this. I don't remember if I wrote this in the first book or not, but like I think I wrote it and it might not have made it in. But teaching is like I want you to imagine there's a giant pile of cool sticks outside, and you got a 5-year-old. Teaching is the art of convincing that 5-year-old that learning their letter sounds is cooler than that giant pile of sticks outside. But the problem is that analogy is out of date, because the giant pile of sticks is a absolute like dopamine addiction to the most addictive game possible online that you're now competing with. And so we are fighting fire with what in education?
I've seen students in middle school, like they have a Chromebook and they're on some game, and it's like it's a collecting something, and the more you collect, you just hit the space bar as fast as you can to collect this stuff. Okay, so we have students before class starts, they like peer underneath their desk into their Chromebook, and they're just hitting that space bar over and over and over and over and over and over again right before class. Then the teacher says, hey, put that away. They put it away for 47 minutes, and then they do it again next hour.
Because that's all they're... Oh, ew. I actually think there's something I've seen that's worse than that. maybe not worse, but
Oh, there's lots worse.
no, I just mean like of seeing the addiction. I've watched students just click in and out of windows because their Chromebook's locked down to anything, but they just need the stimulus of seeing something pop up on
change.
their yeah. And so they'll just move between two applications on their Chromebook back and forth because they're just trying to stimulate their brain and their dopamine receptors somehow. That's what we're fighting right now. And we think that returning to what is going to fix this, like we said in the last podcast, the genie's out of the bottle, baby. There's no putting this thing back in. We now have to come up with new systems and new tools to be able to combat and even stand a chance to reaching this next generation. We have to speak their language.
And I really think that we don't want to further embrace the thing that's causing them problems either.
Yes.
Like Gamify Education, we're not, this is not like a video game.
Correct.
Like, oh, we're just going to fix the problem by making math a video game. And
Right.
that is not what this is. Like, we are still doing what we've done.
Right.
The best practice of teachers, the most effective practice. And we're making this, for the most part, like non-virtual.
Yes, this is something that exists. If like when we did it the best in our classrooms, it existed basically with physical materials in the classroom. Very little of this was happening on the computer. And what was happening on the computer were just learning activities. It might have been Khan Academy or taking AR tests, but it wasn't interacting with gamification. That is not what we want. We actually have the opposite goal in Gamify Education. We want to build systems of
Rigor.
but like internal rewards through the external rewards. Like we want the external rewards to be imaginary because that's really what gamification is. Like XP is imaginary, but it's powerful. And then once students understand that this feeling of XP is just nothing more than the feeling of accomplishment and that how powerful that is, then that translates over to the real world.
Our last year as fifth grade teachers together, we gave that survey to the kids at the end of the year. And one of the questions was about, like, how did the game motivate you or change you as a learner?
Yeah.
And I remember one of the responses was from one of your kiddos. And she said that for the first time in her learning, she saw a tangible number with how much she learned.
Yeah.
And as that number increased with her level of her character,
Right.
she was empowered by the fact that there was evidence that she was learning a lot.
Right.
And she said as a fifth grader, like that changed her life at that point.
Right. And, we've now had the years of experience to see some of these kids go through middle school and watch them kind of, some of them drop off, some of them stay on, some of them rise up. I'm not saying that this is going to be something that changes a student's life forever. But
It could.
it could, but also it is going to change their life forever if they learned more in the year they're with you than they did in any other year of their education. Every year that they're with a teacher, every year that they have a new teacher, they're having a whole new set of life experiences. And the amount of knowledge that they're gaining directly impacts their future. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. My education was pretty bad as far as what I received from the public school system. Part of that was because of a move that happened in my youth from one city to another, and there weren't common standards back then. And so basically I missed fractions, I just didn't learn them. And if you know anything about fractions and mathematics, they're kind of important for being good at math in the later years. And that really affected my life and what I could and could not do in college. And I don't want that for students. I'm not begrudging it because I'm really happy with my life and I really love my job and I love being an educator. And I could have still been an educator. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. But I also could have been something else, and who knows? I always say this to kids, like, you don't want to close a door on yourself when you're 10 years old. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. So for us as educators, we want to provide students the ability to open as many doors as possible for their future.
I mean, and that is so important for these listeners then. Like, if you are an educator, like, you have a tremendous opportunity and responsibility.
Yeah.
Because you can change the trajectory of someone's life.
Right.
I mean, if they're behind grade level and then you get them caught up or even advanced, like, all of a sudden this is real change.
Right.
And this is why I think a lot of people get into the teaching profession to begin with.
Yeah.
Is they want to have that impact on the future generation.
I think that's the number one reason.
I think so. I would hope so.
You don't get into teaching for the pay. Like I said, it's pretty good in Washington now, but when I started, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just normal teacher pay back then. It was like $30,000 a year for a starting teacher. It wasn't like, for the amount of schooling I had to go through, it was really bad. So, like, we enter into this profession with a sense of, like, altruism, wanting to help society. That's what we do. And so I don't think that it's a huge leap for teachers to hear what we're saying and say, yeah, like, we want to help kids. We want to reach this generation. And I know because I've now seen it play out in so many situations and so many different classrooms. Gamification's a way that we can reach this generation. Using these tools that we've developed reaches kids. It's time for Quote Corner.
Let's do it.
I'm just going to have corners. Everything's a corner in gamification. Cornerstones. What did I call my conspiracy theory corner?
Corner?
Yeah. Welcome to the conspiracy theory corner. Follow me down the rabbit hole.
We're in the corner of a shop.
Yep. Well, we're kind of in the middle of the shop, but
I feel like I'm right next to the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. All right. What movie is that from?
Fight Club?
No.
Darn. I never seen Fight Club.
Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
All right. Here's the quote.
All right. I got the last one right.
You got 1 point off the last one
out
of a possible 2 points. So you got 1 out of 2 points. So right now...
No, that was a bonus point.
Yeah. So right now you have 1 point on the scoreboard.
I got maximum normal points.
So if you get it wrong, do you lose a point?
No.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently.
It's a good line. I'm going to go line. So movie.
No.
Dang it.
Sorry. That's a real quote from a real person.
All right. Let me take a guess. Say it again.
Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently.
I'm going to guess an athlete.
You're close, yeah. He's not an athlete himself.
Oh, a coach?
Yeah. Your favorite kind of quote is to coach.
Basketball coach.
Yeah. Basketball coach.
College?
Yep.
College?
Yeah.
Dean Smith?
No.
Mike Krzyzewski?
Nope. Nick Saban.
Oh, he's a football coach.
I knew that. I know sports ball. I don't. I know baseball. That's about it.
That's good.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing. Like I mentioned the last podcast, we're not getting into what gamification is yet. Again, we wrote a book on that, but we will be explaining it further in the podcast and updates to it, basically. Because when we wrote it, we were pretty fresh into it. We were just like, this is a great idea. There's not a lot about it out there. There were a handful of books about it, but none of them were really like diving into what we were trying to do, which is help teachers to be able to build like entire classroom systems around gamifying a classroom. There were some cool books about like how to use XP to like do classroom quiz games and things like that. very little, nothing on what we were talking about. And so, like, we're going to really get in depth in gamification with this podcast, but also like some updates to the beliefs that we had when we wrote the book versus now. This is something that I think that is a core of gamification. This idea that, like, what we're really trying to do is build consistency within the students, because it's not about like one good day. Like, no one gets strong from one day of lifting weights, and no one gets fast from one day of running. It is a concerted effort over a long period of time. Small victories over a long period of time is how you get better at something. And that requires motivation. And gamification, at its core, is about motivating.
Yep. 100%. You didn't know who Nick Saban was?
No.
Like one of the best college football coaches of all time.
Hold on, let me guess who he coached for.
Do it. Two schools. Two prominent universities for sure.
All right, so college, Alabama.
Correct.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Big prominent.
Before that,
Ole Miss.
LSU.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got the first. I know.
What was his quote again? Tell me.
All right. It was, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently.
And I think that's a big part of just the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is set the bar high, and we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Like every day. Not just one little like moment in time of okay, today we're gonna really stretch your brain today.
Right.
And then we're gonna stretch your brain every day.
Right. And I think that, like, for teachers, like, if you're afraid of change and afraid of jumping into this, just understand it's not about a big sweeping change one day. Like, when I roll these things out to classrooms, because right now I help a lot of classrooms set these up. When I roll these things out, I like to say it's like I'm like a magician, just kind of like pulling back the curtain a little bit at a time for the students. And that's my way of saying, like, I don't want to set everything up in a day and explain it in a day. Like, I want to do this 10 minutes at a time with these students, because I only have 10 minutes at a time with these students to start introducing these games. So it's like, to them, it's like, oh, he's mysterious. He knows what he's doing. But the truth behind it is, like, no, I'm going to slowly roll this out consistently over a few days and then build their comprehension over those few days. And if you're thinking about gamifying your classroom, or if you're interested in it, understand that it's not like a big sweeping change that you have to do in one day. Like, it is just something you can roll over the course of several weeks. I think that when we first introduced our games, we basically did that. We were kind of building the plane in the air, and we're like, all right, class, we're going to play a big game. And we didn't know what we were doing, and we were just kind of introducing ideas and letting kids ping pong it, and like, it just built itself organically. And like, if you're willing to try it and willing to invest the little bit of time consistently, you're going to have success. That's how achievement's won.
Yeah.
All right, let's be done.
Well, we only even got to one problem of education right now.
Well, oh, you're right. We didn't even talk about the biggest problem in education.
We kind of, I do think that the biggest problem of education is the technology that they have access to.
Well, the second biggest problem in education is behaviors. That's the biggest concern, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think that you can separate these things. I think that the concern of behavior is because the kids are so addicted to their addictions that they can't cope within the discomfort of school. And so they're acting out so that they can get to that place that they feel comfortable, because they're addicted to those things. And I mean literally addicted. I heard addiction defined really, really well. Addiction is like right now we have the ability to be motivated for a whole bunch of different goals, right?
Okay.
Like a well-balanced person who's not addicted. Like I can be motivated to get this podcast done. I can be motivated to shower. I can be motivated for a bunch of different things. That's a well-balanced brain chemistry. Addiction is a single motivation in life. You have one focus to get that thing, that desired thing. And so we're fighting addiction right now in the classroom. And the behaviors are a result of that. The parent apathy is a result of that because the parents don't know what to do. And so they are seeing the behaviors at home, but the easiest thing to do is just to feed the beast. And so they don't want to deal with it because they might be addicted to their devices themselves, or they're just so exhausted or burnt out from the reality of life right now that they're just like, yeah, go do iPad, whatever.
Working 2 jobs, 3 jobs,
Absolutely.
some of these parents, and then coming home. Like,
right. And so like to try to untangle this web and say like this problem is a behavior problem, or this problem is a motivation problem, or this problem is an addiction problem, or this problem is a parent problem, or this problem is this, it's impossible. These problems are this. These problems are an interconnected blanket that are all the strings are pulling together. And until we can get students unaddicted, those problems are going to persist.
And I don't think that that's going to be our job, though. I don't think that we're in control of that. But what I do think that we could do is first of all, okay, we got this huge entanglement of all these factors. But one thing is clear is that kids are not learning the same way.
Right.
And then I think we have to start from there. Like lecturing up at the board for 20 minutes, that's not working. Okay. We need way more brain breaks to refocus them, or like a movement, or
design your lesson in a way that they are moving. Like you're using the building thinking classrooms method right now, and that's getting them up off their feet and getting them engaged in a completely different way.
Get up, get down, get back up.
What does it go back to that quote we talked about last time? It's like you can't focus on the old. Like that's a waste. You got to focus on the new, and that's how we move forward. And so right now we have this big. I love problems. I love solving problems. This is this is a challenge. We have this big problem, right? And my question isn't how do we get back to what we were. My question is how do we get to something better with what we have.
That's good.
All right. Mr. Becker, you have a fantastic day.
You too, Mr. Lamberson.
Till next time.